Hello, everyone, and welcome to CripChat, your weekly podcast on everything disability. Today, we'll be focusing on disability pride and what
No.
that is all about. And who's going to demonstrate it? None other than Jane Scott herself. Hello, Jane.
Hi, how you going, Ibby?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see you and Hannah doing what you guys do best. So tell us, Jane, before we start to get into things,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do out there in the community?
Well, it depends what day of the week it is and where I'm going. I'm part of a choir. I'm part of the Disability Pride Fest. I'm part of New South Wales Greens. I go to lots of protests and have communal yelling sessions, which are a lot of fun. Yeah, I do lots of different stuff. I also do some work occasionally at Sydney University in one of their subjects around disability.
Wow.
To do that, sharing my lived experience. So yeah, lots of different stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, Jane. And then, that's part of being a great advocate and also, just a person with a disability living their everyday life. So tell us, Jane, being, I guess, a spokesperson and also an advocate, how does that make you feel?
Being an awesome advocate, I'm not sure I am an awesome advocate. Because an awesome advocate, I don't know, it feels like an awesome advocate would get more actual results than most of us are able to do. But then maybe that's just being unrealistic. Because people do take a long time ordinarily to change. Occasionally things will change quickly, but mostly it takes a really long effort. It's a long haul. I'm actually reading a book at the moment called Colonising Solidarity, and
Nice.
it's about First Nations people, and it's mostly about how white fellas can be supportive of First Nations people and what dynamics are at play there. And I'm reading it to understand First Nation stuff, but also thinking, what does it have to say to us as a disability community? Because like the First Nations people, often we're subject to low expectations, we're pushed aside, where people don't expect that we can do much. They're often wrong about that. But yeah, it's actually been really interesting to think about how it's worked for that community who've been fighting that fight for probably a bit longer,
Yeah.
and see some of the similar dynamics for us.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from, Jane. You mentioned solidarity.
Yep,
And how important is that for, people with disability?
hugely important, hugely. Solidarity to me is about standing together or sitting together, depending on the situation, but acting together to get stuff done and just to support one another in a way that recognizes that we can get things done, not in a way that makes us think, oh, somebody else has to do all the stuff, but us taking the reins and supporting one another to live good lives and make change. Solidarity is about learning from one another in doing that and recognizing that you're not on your own. Even if things don't change the way you would like, other people have been there and you can learn from their experience and you can benefit from what's happened to them in the past. And maybe that will help you in your own struggle when you come across barriers, which we just do.
Oh, yeah. No, well said, Jane. It's all about, people really come together, standing for our rights or sitting,
Yeah,
but it's recognizing and also celebrating,
yeah,
who we are. It's all about identity.
exactly. And that is worth celebrating and recognizing, um, not just pushing aside. When you face challenges in life, and being disabled means that stuff is harder in some respects, whatever it might be. When you deal with that, it builds your character, it helps you to become, for the most part, a stronger person. And it's interesting that when you talk to people who don't have disability, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I could never do what you do. You're amazing." And sometimes I say to them, "Actually, you probably could. It's just that you never needed to. If you acquired a disability tomorrow, you wouldn't automatically just sit in a corner all day and feel sorry for yourself. You might do that for a while, but then I think you would probably pick yourself up and think, well, what can I do and what are my options, and start building the life that you want to have."
Exactly. No, well said, well said. And I agree with you. Yeah, look, we're not inspirations. We're just ordinary people doing ordinary things.
It's not actually that impressive for most of us to get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes it might be if you're really sick, but for the most part, just the fact that you exist is not actually that impressive. But some of the things that you do in the face of the challenges that you have to deal with, yeah, they might be impressive. They might be inspiring.
Exactly. In terms of solidarity, we have an exciting event coming up. So, Jane, that Disability Pride's coming to Sydney. So, tell us
Yeah.
all about Disability Pride.
Okay, so Disability Pride Fest is back on the 26th of July from 10 a.m. at Sydney Town Hall. We will be taking up the space that we deserve right in the middle of Sydney City. And everyone's going to know that because there are banners that have gone up, I think today, that advertise our festival. And already there will be people looking at those banners going, what does that mean? But we'll be there on Saturday, the 26th of July to show people that what disability pride means is being proud of who we are, with the challenges, with the difficulties, with all the stuff that we learn and the way that all of those experiences shape us. Being proud of ourselves and celebrating the lives that we have.
Cool, cool. So, now that's awesome. That sounds like an exciting event.
Yeah, so we're
Who
going to
will
have
go?
entertainers. We're having
No.
Ellie Mae Barnes, who's a cabaret singer who you might have heard of her somewhat famous dad. Wait until you see Ellie Mae. So
Right.
she's coming along. We've got some other people singing and doing comic. Dean Nash is singing and doing comic stuff. We've got Alistair McEwen, who was one of the people on the Disability Royal Commission, one of the commissioners, and he will be talking about his reflections on that, I would think. I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say because there are a lot of people who thought we might get more of a response from government and from other organisations than what we have had so far, in terms of the Disability Royal Commission. So it'll be really good to hear from him directly. We're protesting this year about low pay for disabled folk. Organisations which are now called Australian Disability Enterprises, they used to be called sheltered workshops, where it's legal and apparently acceptable to seriously underpay disabled people for their work in comparison to what other people get paid for similar stuff. We will be protesting that because everybody deserves a livable wage and everybody deserves the respect that comes with a livable wage. So Sean Bickley's coming down from Queensland to talk about that. Abigail Boyd will be there, who's one of the Greens. She's the Greens disability spokesperson in New South Wales. And she'll be talking about the fact that Sydney Council have actually taken some serious action on that issue. So, yeah, looking forward to hearing from her. We've got Rosemary Keir coming along, who's the Human Rights Commissioner for Disabled Folk. We're going to have a lot of people who are really worth hearing from, but there's also things to do. So if you're the kind of person that needs to or likes to do something with your hands rather than sit and listen to someone talk, there's arts and crafts you can make use of to express your disability pride. There's a makers market that you can cruise through, that's going to be disabled makers, so disabled business people basically. So again, solidarity, supporting one another in what we do. And Yeah, so many other things are going to be happening. There'll be a silent cinema with films by Emily Dash. Yeah, there'll be a lot to do, and basically, whatever is your thing, I think there'll be something that you'll enjoy.
Wow, a day full of entertainment, activities, and great people to meet. Why
Indeed. Yeah.
would you miss it?
Yeah. Well, why would you? Yeah, like it's the kind of thing where I reckon people will say, "Were you there that day when Disability Pride happened at Sydney Town Hall? Do you remember that?" I reckon people will be looking back to it because we don't get that kind of spotlighting very often, and certainly not often in a positive way. So I'm really looking forward to us engaging with the community on our terms and speaking with our voices to say we matter and we are worth recognizing and celebrating, and we've got stuff to say. So come and listen.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's what we want. We want to spread disability awareness. We want to, spread the pride. It is who we are. We are proud to be safe, and we are not inspirations at all. We're just ordinary people doing ordinary things.
Oh, I don't know.
So,
I find occasionally someone does something that's actually worthy of inspiration. Like, we've got a senator and a couple of other disabled folk in the federal parliament. I reckon that's pretty impressive. I reckon that's kind of inspiring. And we're going to have a pole dancer at the festival who happens to swing around the
oh,
pole with only one arm. That's pretty
oh,
impressive.
wow.
I wouldn't call that ordinary myself. I think that's pretty cool.
That's wow. One armed pole dancer.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
Gotta be
another exciting opportunity for you to join us at Disability Pride. Now that's awesome, Jane. I look forward to the event. Do you have any, I guess, any comments you want to add for
yeah.
wrap up?
So we're starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday, the 26th of July, and where the main space that we'll be using is the bottom part. So you need to come around to Jewett Street. You can get there on the light rail. You can get there on the bus. You can get there on the train or on the metro. Come and join us. Come and check it out, and bring friends. Bring people who haven't maybe met any other disabled folk except you, because that's the other thing we can do when we've got an audience, when we're all speaking together, people can really develop their understanding of the variety that the disabled community encompasses and understand more about lots of different people, not just one.
No, awesome. So yeah, is there a registration? How do we
There is
register?
registration, yes. So you can go to our Humanities site. There's a link to that on the Sydney Disability Pride website, which will come up if you Google Sydney Disability Pride. It'll be there. You'll see it. Um, you know, it's free, but we'd love for you to get a ticket so that we know that you're coming, so that we know how many people we might expect, and so that we can get in touch with people later on, so that when we do this again, we can say, "Oh, didn't you love it last time? Do you want to come again?" So yeah, if you can register and get a ticket, that would be fabulous. But if you forget to do that, well, of course, we'd still love to see you come along.
Cool, cool. Now I look forward to being there to see you and the team
Yeah,
at Disability Pride.
excellent. Yeah,
Thank you very much, Jane,
thank
for
you.
being on the podcast. You're always welcome, and
Yeah,
it's always exciting to have you on the show. Be sure to register for everyone out there. You'll be watching a CripChat. You're waiting for us with disability. Tune in as we talk about more of the issues that relate to disability. But for now, goodbye. Take care.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.